Charges have always been a rather polarizing weapon in the Splatoon fandom. However, recently the hatred has been insane. Charges are more disliked than ever before, and for what reason, you may ask? Before we get into the main reason, let's discuss why charges were hated before Splat 3. The idea of charges has always been the focus on distance and accuracy. Charges have the ability to insta-kill any opponent, but to get that insta-kill, you gotta let it slowly charge up, and then you get one big, incredibly powerful shot that goes incredibly far and can even pierce through opponents. This is why it can feel rather annoying going against charges, because it can sometimes feel like you got shot out of absolutely nowhere from a player that you can't see. It's like that one scene from The Boys. Charges were disliked in Splatoon 1, but it wasn't to an extreme degree, because there were a few counterplays after all. Charges were good from a distance, but up close they were screwed. Charges would often alleviate this issue by chilling in one hard to reach spot. We'll call these areas perching spots. We'll talk more about them later. Another disadvantage that kind of links back to the last one is that you obviously only get one charge shot at a time, so if you miss that shot then, well, you lose time and you might just end up exposing yourself. Charges work best in stealth after all. So in Splatoon 1, charges were disliked by some people, but most just accepted the charger playstyle. But then Splatoon 2 came around and absolutely nothing changed. Charges did get the ability to store a charge in ink, and the Elite of 4K did lose a bit of range, but besides that, nothing. As such, the discussion didn't really change. Some people didn't like charges, but most people accepted them. Finally, we get to Splat 3, where the anger and hatred against charges has reached its absolute peak. But the weapon is the exact same as it was in Splatoon 2. So what was the problem? Well, what if I told you that it wasn't the weapon's fault, but actually the stages? Yes, that's right folks, we are once again talking about how terrible the stages in Splatoon 3 are. So let's compare some of the Splatoon 2 stages to the Splatoon 3 stages. The stages in Splat 2 that had perching spots like Starfish Main Stage have different areas in which you can perch. If you want to perch on this platform up here, it gives you a good view to center area, but the flanking routes on the sides are harder to see. So you need to be cautious, as if you're not paying attention, a sneaky player can get the jump on you. Another good example is New Albacore Hotel. There are 3 good perching spots, but these spots can also be good flanking areas if you're not paying attention, where the enemy can end up chasing you. There are probably more stages I could use as an example, but I simply don't have the time to wait for the rotation turnover. Oh, what, you didn't know that? Yeah, in Splatoon 2 you can't just rake on any stage like you can in 3. Nope, you have to wait for that stage to be in rotation. I cannot believe we played this game for 5 years. Anyways, let's compare the stages in Splatoon 3 now. Let's start off with Eeltail. Specifically Eeltail Splat Zones. There is a pretty good perching spot right over here, but there's an issue here. And I mean there's an issue if you're the enemy player. As in, the only way your opponent can reach this area is via the midsection. Yes, the midsection, aka the most dangerous area to be in. So the only way to defeat this charger is either have another long range weapon that can reach him, or somehow surviving the midsection and reaching the charger while dealing with the skilled team. You see what the problem here is, right? Chargers can just chill up here in this spot for the rest of time because there's no other flanking routes. There's only one route in and out of mid, so even if by some miracle you make it through the midsection and avoid being spotted by the chargers and all the enemies, it's most likely that the charger knows you're coming due to the fact that they have the high ground. So the charger will most likely either retreat or set up a trap, and this is a problem with a lot of Splatoon 3 stages. Compared to multiple flanking routes, in stages like New Albacore Hotel, Starfish Main Stage like I already mentioned, and even the hated Schellendorf Institute, to the singular routes provided in stages like Mincemeat, Eeltail and Scourge. Kinda lame, right? So, to conclude, this isn't a charger problem, it's a stage problem. The stages are designed in a way where countering distant players feels like a chore. And of course, a distant player that can kill you in one shot, but you can't really kill them, feels kind of cheap and annoying. This is the reason why chargers have become so hated. It's not the charger's fault, it's Nintendo for designing the stages like this. The only way I can really see this being fixed is if Nintendo decides to go back to the lab and redesign a lot of the stages. Add more ink rails, more alternate pathways and routes. I don't know, just make the stages better. If I remember correctly, Nintendo did change some of the stages back in Splatoon 1. No, back in Splatoon 2, they did change a lot of the stages, so yeah, what's stopping them from doing it again? Like, they redesigned a lot of stages. In fact, I think Starfish Main Stage was one of the stages that they redesigned. I'll have to check the wiki and I'll put it up on screen if I'm correct, but yeah, but again, I don't think that it's the charger's fault. I think that it's Nintendo's fault and the stage's fault. So that's pretty much the end of this video. And now I get to asking you questions. So, what do you think? Is it the stage's fault? How would you improve the stages? Whatever you think, comment down below. Anyways, you know what the procedure is. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Give me money on Ko-Fi, and as always, take care of yourselves.